Me?
Hi, everybody.
You do
I'll
it.
do it.
All right.
I'll do it. Fine. Hi, everyone. This is episode 28 of Stat Check. Couldn't hack it. And as you can see, it's not a Scottish accent or a Scottish person giving you this intro because our friend Innes is currently in the skies on his way to Las Vegas for LVO this weekend. So I'm instead joined by Anthony, Jeremy, and then our friendly neighborhood guest, Jack Harpster.
Hey guys. Hi.
Welcome to the show, big man.
Thanks. I'm surprised you haven't invited me before, Anthony. I thought we were friends.
You're the first guest. Don't be mean.
He's like the third guest.
Yeah, no, I know.
Anthony. You know I wouldn't know. I would tell people until eventually someone's like, "No, you're not, Jack." And I was like,
Damn.
so close.
So thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We are going to do some questions with Jack later on in the episode. We'll do our stats section. But first, how was everybody's weekend? Starting with our guest, Jack.
Oh, my weekend was great. I'm moving apartments, so
exciting.
Yeah. So that was all of Saturday. And then Sunday, John helped, which was very nice. He helped lift stuff.
What a hero.
What a lad. We got him pizza.
Nice.
And then Sunday, the whole gang went to an escape room. And we did not lose. We got out with like 2 minutes to spare before we were sealed in King some or other's tomb forever.
Nice.
Yeah, forever. Like that's a long time.
That's a long time. Yeah.
That's a long time. And then I moved.
Literal game professionals beat the game.
That's woo. We only needed 2 hints.
All right. That's more than, that's less than a ton. That's not bad.
It wasn't a lot. It was mostly for like, hey, have you like checked the thing and see if there's extra writing there? And we're like, oh yeah, no, we haven't. We haven't checked that. That would be good to do though.
Yeah.
Then game night, I guess. Mining hard in the content farm. Content mines. For all their state of the faction videos.
Oh yeah, just deep in the
content mines. Just I've done everything else, but I couldn't put off Raven Guard, so I have to do that. Yeah, I got that tomorrow.
First, did you just go like, "Hey, they suck," and then just close the video, or?
I feel like both of our Raven Guard players would be very upset with me if I did that.
All two of them. All two of them.
Yeah.
That's also fair.
Yeah, I don't know. First, step 1, find out what, if anything, they do. And then step 2, find out what of that got better.
Makes
something
sense.
Probably.
So maybe.
I probably. Or not,
Just staple Gillum into it, get a couple extra CP. Maybe you can pretend it's 8th edition and pregame move everybody again.
Then paint them all blue, and then say they're just Ultramarines, and then you get to stay in Dev Doctrine actually the whole time. And there you go.
Right? Probably.
I was just going to say you say they're 30k themed Dark Angels instead, and just play with a better supplement.
Yeah.
And now that I've admitted to not knowing what they do, now I can't just skate through with people assuming I know what they do, and I'm just,
rats.
Now I have to like reference rules or something.
Caught and called out, dude.
Damn.
That content mining is going to be way harder now that everybody knows you don't know what you're doing.
I even did
Now there's
Salamanders before Raven Guard. Like
Salamanders are better than Raven Guard, surely.
They are, but they're equally. I don't know what they do. Salamanders at least do cool things. But
yeah,
probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was going to say, now we don't know if you actually know anything that you're talking about any of the time.
They Overwatch, they buddy Overwatch, and then I think they heroic 2d6, and you get a lot of dudes with flamers and Melta. I tell you what, I wrote a list that has like a lot of Melta.
A lot of those things.
Oh yeah. Oh man, you're getting hot in here.
All right, Anthony.
Joke.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. It was my birthday.
Happy belated birthday, Anthony.
Thank you. I did some birthday stuff. I got a tattoo last week. If you want to see pictures of it, come look at the Patreon. I'm not explaining the story again. It looks a lot like this, actually.
Looks like a Team Australia logo. That's weird.
Yeah, if you want to hear the story, into the Patreon you go. Anyway.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So that was pretty much my weekend. It was a little bit of, I consider the tattoo my last piece of LVO prep, so I'm just not going to think about it until I'm at the event now. I am playing a charity stream against David Gaylord on the Thursday. So that is in 2 days on the 26th. On War Games live stream, the charity proceeds go to Canines for Warriors, I think is the full charity name. That's basically a foundation that takes animals out of a kill shelter and trains them and then provides them to veterans that need them for mental health stuff. So real cool.
Pretty good.
Watch
Is
that.
the odds match?
So the goal of the game is not for me to win. All I have to do,
Although that's flexing right there.
yes, is not to get 20 owed. And then David has to buy me dinner because
I feel like if you win, you get 2 steak dinners.
maybe, who knows? I don't know if what happens if I win. I got to see if David's a tattoo man or not, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Anthony, you really need to stop making bets. That
was a pretty easy bet. I have to not get 20 owed.
Wow, it's
If
gonna
I
be
can't
really
do
embarrassing if you
that-
don't.
I've had at least 3 or 4 people tell me they would concede to me in order to make you get a tattoo of my initials on your butt. So,
Oh no.
What happens if he does 20 owe you, Anthony?
I have to buy him dinner.
Oh,
that's a
wow.
That is
that
actually
is-
a really easy bet to make.
Yeah,
actually
it should be
pretty
fine.
confident there.
Yeah, it should be fine. But you know,
Imagine that'd be the saddest dinner you've ever had to buy anyone.
dude, just sad. Well, no, I was dating for a while before I met Anna. There were some sad dinners that were purchased, but they're like in general, yeah, it wouldn't be great.
I don't know, trying to make the gap not 50-0, trying to make it 49-0 and not being able to. I feel like that's pretty.
If I
Pretty
score
embarrassing.
50 points, I'm literally gonna hit the chess clock to him and leave to go get a reservation.
I'm planning on just hanging out and watching that game.
It's gonna be a mess. I'm excited.
Oh, it's great.
So yeah, that was my weekend. These are my plans. Welcome to the Vegas ride for a man that's not trying to win anything in singles anymore. Here we fucking go. How was your
Sure.
time, Jeremy? How was your weekend?
Anthony just getting set to ruin someone's weekend while not caring how his goes.
no.
Mine was good. We had our store invitational, which was basically like a season finale for an RTT/GT series that we've been running for the last year. My buddy Francois won it, and along with winning it, won a belt, which was definitely something that caught us all off guard. We found out the morning of the event after pairings were live that that was what was on the line. So that was pretty cool. So Francois, at some point, will have to show off that belt in the Patreon Discord.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. We were playing all new rules, so arcs, all of that. Got a taste for it. Now I have to forget all of that and just trying to remember how Nephilim works.
Yep.
So I'm in a similar boat where I played one practice game yesterday, and that's basically where I'm at for my LVO prep until
Good enough.
maybe Thursday.
Nice.
You want to play the mirror again on Thursday, Jeremy? Is that what you're saying?
You know what? In person, I'm fine with doing it because we will actually have different tokens for our grudge match.
The one
I don't know if I'll
mirror I'm
have
hoping
tokens.
happens. The mirror I'm hoping happens is Vic plays David in the worst mirror of all time, the T-Sun's mirror.
It's so terrible.
It's awful.
You just
It's
roll
great.
2 dice at each other. These 2 dice until the game ends.
You literally are just throwing handfuls of 2 dice at each other. Like,
Yeah. It's not like a lot of dice. You're never in combat. No one shoots. It's just 2 dice, a deny, and a dream.
yeah, but like you still need to think about it, right? Like the order of your powers still matters. Which powers your opponent can and cannot deny. Which ones
Oh,
they're going to reroll. Which ones they're going to 3d6. They're both
Which one they're
going to
gonna
be
make
comatose on the
undeniable.
floor after the game. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Flamers shooting flamers. Disgusting.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Just terrible. It should be as painful as possible. It should
Yeah,
be
but-
like a Tau mirror.
They essentially knock each other out because whoever wins
Loses.
wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
goes
real.
into the next round begging for the sweet release of death, and then
Entirely
And then you give it to them with your blood
and then
angel.
you give it to them with
Easy.
the blood
Exactly.
angels. Damn. Exactly, Anthony.
Yes.
Nice.
All right, Nathan, how has your weekend been?
My weekend was fine. I worked. I'm trying to get caught up enough with work so that I don't have to work every day of LVO.
Just
Like-
sell out.
Off to the side during my round 1, I'll just be doing analysis on a data set while I play against somebody. Maybe if I get paired into a Knights player with the Votan, then I can end in like an hour and I can go sit down somewhere and like eat breakfast. And I'm now gonna get paired into some Knights player and they're gonna beat the living breaks off of me.
We're
But
gonna use calculated targeting and only roll 6s to wound and ruin your shit.
exactly, yeah. Otherwise, I played my first game of Arcs of Omen, and I decided to play it with Harlequins because I've made terrible decisions in my life. So I played into a Dark Angels player locally, but they took like an off-meta Dark Angels list, and so I beat the brakes off of them instead, which was a little amusing. But I learned the lesson which was that -1 invulnerable save makes all of your shit just vanish into poofs when the Dark Angels start shooting at it.
Oh yeah.
And that every Marine army just has like 20% more shit on the table. So you're just kind of fighting through even more stuff, which is
Yeah,
Dragon
it's so
upwards.
cool. It all vanishes in a puff of smoke whenever you throw damage at it, but it
it's still
hits.
scored.
It hits.
It also hits. Yeah, it
It
makes you
hits
dead.
so hard.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a problem doing anything with it. It's just like I knew nothing was going to survive to the next battle round. Basically, was what was happening. Is the troop master got into Samael and an apothecary and killed both of them, and then died immediately afterwards when Samael fought on death for 2 CP, which was funny.
Yep, that sounds right.
But otherwise, I'm looking forward to LVO. I'm really excited to meet everybody tomorrow. I'll be in Vegas at like 6 o'clock, so that's exciting. I do have to work Wednesday and Thursday, but whatever. So yeah, on that note, we're going to transition into stats. Before we get too far into it, I am going to give props to Alex Taus, who did really well at Uprising this weekend. He top 10. He got 9th place, I think was what it got, with Chaos Knights at Uprising.
Yes.
So good job, Alex.
2 and won his pod on day 3.
That might be it. Yeah.
No.
But he sent me the placings and said, did I do well? And I was like, no, you did terribly. Obviously, getting a top 10 at a major in Australia, terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful.
No, you are not winning, son.
No.
Not yet.
Statstead was proud, is what I would say. But we had another mixed bag of events this weekend. We have people playing like 3 different sets of rules still, which is kind of annoying.
Sick.
And it's going to continue being that way until after LVO, essentially, because this week we're going to have LVO kind of capstone Nephilim, and that will be it. And then everything, I think, from this weekend on. Thank you, Alex. I can't remember everything, buddy. I spent the last 4 hours trying to figure out a problem with file formats that I needed to fix.
Listen, Taos, what you got was beat by Mora Soli. Fucking pipe down.
Joe,
On
at least that's you know what?
Yikes, my guy.
It's fine.
Relax.
But I'm going to pull just the numbers for Arcs of Omen for the stuff for this week because that's the only thing anybody really cares about, if we're totally honest. So we're going to use the events that used Arcs of Omen. Congratulations.
Yes.
In number 1 for win rate. Oh, wow. I'm looking at the everything Space Marines split out thing. So we're going to do it this way because that's what I'm looking at.
Oh.
So the top 1, 2, 3, 4 factions out of the top 5 are our Space Marine factions for Arcs of Omen, which is
Weird.
Black Templar at a 67, which I think is just 2 players. Dark Angels at a 63, which is the most of the subfactions that we're going to talk about. Space Wolves at a 62, and then Salamanders at a 60. Chaos Demons are the next faction that's not Space Marines at a 59. And then, oh boy, Death Guard at 58.8% for a win rate from the weekend. I don't know how. This is just Arcs of Omen. Everybody was telling me Death Guard were going to die a horrible death.
How many games is this? Like, what sample size are we looking at?
About
That's 40
1,200
games
total.
40 games of Death Guard?
Of Death Guard, yes.
That's pretty good. That's not like as small as I was expecting it to be.
I was expecting it to be like 12.
8. Yeah.
It's 8 players.
The Dark Angels was like 120 games, I think.
Yeah, I mean, what the Black Templars is like, how many games? Like 10, 12, something like that?
Oh, this is just this last weekend, so it's not all of Arcs of Omen since last week. So there's more games probably in here, but it's 58.8 for 40 games of Death Guard from this last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Arcs
it's
just
fun.
went
Make
live
people
this
think that
weekend.
the army's good, you know?
Yeah. Gene Stealer Colts are right behind at 55. And then the darling that everybody was talking about previously, Iron Hands, are only at a 54.3 post Arcs. Maybe they're just waiting for somebody who's an expert to take their hand and lead them to the promised land or
Is
something.
anyone
I don't know.
really an Iron Hands expert? I don't think that's a thing.
Nassim.
I wouldn't even say then.
He's just a gun expert.
Yeah, that's just a gun attached to legs.
I feel like as soon as Nassim at least switches over, the win rate will go up. That's with 82 games, so it's not like they're not being played at all so far in ARCs. But
People are just not.
I mean, I
winning
feel like the first order optimal list is just going to be like every gladiator on the face of the planet, and then other stuff that moves like 9 inches or whatever and shoots.
Yeah.
And that is very easy to play around. But it's when they add like 3 Stormspeeder Thunderstrikes, and 3 Invictor Warsuits.
Yeah, they
and,
start going full mech build and start punching you in the nuts from turn 1. It's like, okay, all right,
Yeah. 'Cause they've already
relax.
got enough damage to table 2 armies in front of them. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So they just need units that will let them put their damage from turn 1 without their opponent being able to hide. And like 3 Invictors deploying midboard and 3 Storm Speeders of really any variety. I don't care.
Pick your favorite one that looks pretty.
Yeah, Hammer Strike's good. Hail Strike's fine. Thunder Strike's best probably, but whatever. It doesn't matter. And then you just run at people and you're like, hey, guess what? You're dead.
I would like to clarify that I can tell you that Death Guard is not all Don Husin games because their win rate is currently positive. So that is not why. That's how you know.
No,
Anyway,
he's
okay.
a solid 3-2.
No, on his best day, maybe.
I think we have at least one person
You're
in our
saying-
Discord who is definitely
Never
better than Don Husin. At
We have
Death Guard.
2.
At least one.
Yeah.
Maybe all of them. I don't know. Don's just the loudest.
He certainly hates anytime Nick says the words Death Guard out loud.
Yeah. Do you think
Yeah.
he like finds him at
Anytime.
events? Nick's like, oh, that's Death Guard playing, and you just get tackled.
Just immediately. Don Husin or somebody who looks identical to him from his local store. Just
Yeah, just hits him like a truck.
yeah.
Of increasing interest now, we have Custodes who actually won Uprising are at 53%.
Oh
So-
no, what's happening?
Custodes are
Actually good now.
To be fair, they never really left.
Yeah,
Like, they have consistently remained above a 50% win rate since their last round of nerfs. Now, they would fail to convert that into event wins for the large part because they got preyed upon by those that were winning events, but they were solid mid-table terror army.
yeah. Well, I also think there's that dynamic, right? Of like you can get to 53% win rate by, bad players playing other bad players going 60%, and then good players playing other good players going 40% or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Tweak the numbers how you want, but like that's definitely possible. It's probably the same reason Death Guard's win rate is completely decoupled from reality here.
I mean, every time I hear a Custodes player also complain about how they don't get a 2-up to win each game pre-game because
You
the
should
lore says they should just win.
Just throw them out a window.
Like a part of me dies, but
Yeah.
I can't defenestrate every opponent that I play who plays Custodes. I just can't do it.
You can. There'll be less. In fact, it'll get easier over time because there will be less of them.
I don't know, but a lot of them are actually built like Cliff is and will actually throw me out of a window instead.
That's what then you call Cliff. Cliff is the one who throws the others.
He's the Custode we all
Slayer.
need.
Yeah.
It's true. Craft World Elder are next at 52.6. I don't really care that much. Blood Angels
They're pretty good now. You take Harlequin allies, they slam pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that.
And then before we get to the disappointing Marine sub-factions, we have Blood Angels who are cranking out at a 52.
That I'm sorry, love Blood Angels, but they got the wrong end of the stick on this change.
I don't know who thought that they just needed to go away for a while, but someone surely was like, enough.
Enough
No
Blood
more."
Angels, man.
Yeah.
I'm tired of them being A tier all the time. They must go away.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Their A
did
tier
it.
reign of terror is at an end.
They did it. How dare
And
you
then-
be not the best faction in the game, you pieces
By the-
of shit.
By the way, I just want to say, quick aside, I was right the whole time. Ha ha, get bent, losers.
And then I have 3 surprises. The first one is I want you to guess where AdMech are in the win rate right now.
Mhm.
I can't touch this because I did this. I made the stats. So
I hope it's less than 20.
I'm gonna say 35.
They're at
I'm
a
not confident though.
51.4% win rate.
Hold
No.
on. How many of those results are 2 people?
It can't just be 2 people because it's 70 games, but
Okay.
It's mostly 2 people.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you pull out Ben and the famous Greeks win, how many do they get?
You're gonna make Jeremy do this like right now, like on the fly.
No,
He's
I'm not
putting it in
actually
front
gonna
of
ask
you.
it, but I'm curious.
The next
I
one
mean-
is. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was just gonna say the Greek, he went 7-1, I think.
Yep.
And then there was another one, and I think Ben went 6-2.
Yeah,
I
so
think
that's
Ben
most
also
of it.
went 7-1.
Maybe it
but
was
I
also
could be wrong.
7-1. But yeah, like they showed that army can actually compete at the top tier, but they're also exceptional players in of themselves.
It always could. Like really, it always could. It's
It just got abandoned, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, it always could do well. Like the rules were still crazy, honestly. Like it's so much of a headache to play the army. It's like doing an Excel game of 40K. Nobody wants to touch it except people who only play that army. People only play that army.
Not always super good at the game.
Not always super good at the game. Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah.
And it's just a bookkeeping nightmare. And if it's not ludicrously strong, people won't tolerate that and they just won't play it if they have other options. Like it always was pretty strong. Like it lost the veteran cohort, got some buffs. It didn't. That's probably a net wash. Just you add some new life to the army, and all of a sudden people switch to it, and then there you go.
It's true.
It's true.
That's fair.
And then the next surprise is, where do you think Tyranids are at?
The bottom. I think
They are
now.
actually the bottom. They are the bottom pure faction at a 38.6% win rate. And it's not like nobody played them. They had 105 games. So
We got them, boys.
Oh my god, that's so many.
They
that
finally figured it
faction
out.
Is actually probably mostly broken. We'll see.
Actually
We'll
dead.
see in a couple weeks when like the data bears out for like the rest of arcs, and as people transition and decide whether or not they're going to competitively abandon Tyranids. But a 38.6% is like a 20% drop in win rate.
Yeah, that's
Across edition. That's
Here's one comment
rough
about that.
business.
I don't think they're kind of the opposite of Death Guard to me now. I don't think they're actually a 38% win rate army in terms of power level. I think you can still do really well with them. You just have to do all the very, very intricate little minor stuff that John personally loves to do with Hormigons, piling and consolidating and character protecting and big boys hiding behind walls and stuff like that. I mean, I watched him play a game into Eldar where Nick is a shooting army and moves very fast and never fired a shot the whole game and had every objective stolen every single turn. But that is just not going to be happening in middle tables in any kind of way. They're just going to get shot to death.
if you're
Also,
someone
if you
that-
are a player who can make that work, you have better options.
Yeah, I think if you're someone that considers themselves a mid-level player and you want to play NIDS, just put as many Carnifexes as you can fit in the list and shoot large venom cannons at people. And like
Or
a non-losing win rate percent of the time, that'll work.
absolutely. Well, I mean, Iron Hands, but yeah, non-losing win rate percent.
That's what I'm saying. You'll go 3-2 with that.
three
Pretty
and two.
confidently.
Yeah, it's it's very easy. You will go Don 3 and Tucson and it'll be fine.
That's right.
But-
And then
But we wrote a list with Adrian, who's on the WTC Germany team, and he's does their YouTube channel. He does a YouTube channel in Germany, King of the Hill. We wrote a list for him that is for LVO, so points change, but not as much. Like you can still
They sure
mess-
do.
Yeah, they do. But it's 2 walking hive tyrants, right? 2 walking hive tyrants, 2 maliceptors, 2 Tyrannifexes with acid sprays, 3 Carnifexes, 3 Zoanthropes, a Neurothrope, and 3
Monsters.
Warriors.
That is a lot of T8.
Oh yeah, it is. It's minus 1 straight for you. Woo!
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that list went up. You have to cut stuff for it, but the heart and soul of that list can stay.
Mhm.
And I think honestly, you can just run people over with something like that. I mean, sure, if you go second into guard, you're dead. It's fun.
Yeah, that's everybody though. That's not
Yeah.
a you problem.
It's not. You're not avoiding that. You're NIDS. You're big. You got big, thick butts. But on your models are big. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, but if you go first,
look, it's okay if you want to admit that your kink is giant bug butts with 6 legs. It's okay, Jack.
I'm
You can
never going to
admit it.
admit that. But
Not out loud.
no, inside all the time. But if you go first, suddenly their plasma executioners are wounding everybody on 5s because you do the psychic action, and maybe somewhere in there you win the game. I don't know, but
Well, maybe somewhere in there you get to shoot them, and that actually hurts real bad.
it really does. Yeah, it really does. So that's pretty cool. And also, you can take 5 model obsec, which is just punishing for people. You can take, if you're more than 18 inches away from you, screw you on -1 to hit. And then guard really don't like no rerolls. I mean, they reroll 1s if they want, but woo. But -1 to hit, functionally -1 to wound, because now you're -1 strength. Those executioners are looking awful. Strength 7 to me, buddy, and then they're wounding you on 5s. That's kind of not going to do anything.
Yeah. I will say one of the other things, because I look through them every single week, having looked through the Tyranid list for the ARCS events this weekend, there is a lot of people throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. So that's the other thing to consider, is that like this is the first actual week of ARCS. Come back to me in like a month, and I assume that Tyranids will probably stabilize in the 45 to 50 range.
So what you're saying is this data is not actually that important?
It's interesting, but it's not that it's not 100% valid, because people are still figuring it out. Like Iron Hands, good example of that. You're saying they're the 52. There was not a single successor Iron Hands list. They were all playing OG Iron Hands.
He's saying this to
I don't necessarily disagree with that. Like I think you can make a case for mono Iron Hands, but all of them being that way, surely
that's just worse, right?
Yeah, like it should be like 50-50. Some people build into having the trait, and some people build into not having the trait, and fine. But like everyone has Iron Hands pure.
Yeah, it surprised me.
Yeah.
Jeremy's also saying this to undercut my last surprise, which is that Astra Militarum are not above a 50% win rate. with 104 games.
Yeah,
that's why none of them made it into the military, Anthony, and they only have nearly got into the military stories.
They just had bone spurs, bro. Like they would have done.
They would have.
They couldn't.
They had asthma and they couldn't.
That's right.
Yeah,
they're at a 48.6, so just off of 50.
Ooh, so
I'm sure Jeremy knows what the.
How many of those lists had Casterkins with the Barbican's key? How many? And Leontis.
I have a very different question. Do we have the win rate of born soldiers?
Yeah.
And
how many born
soldiers,
Casterkin, Barbican's key, Leontis lists are in that? I want to know, because that's different.
I guess we can pull that up.
All right. Astra Militarum born soldiers had a 49.4% win rate last week.
That's actually not that high.
No, that's kind of low.
They went 39, 40, and 4.
All right.
And Uprising did let people play with Lord Solar, from my understanding.
Yes,
and
they allowed reasonable proxies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which he's on an 80 millimeter base, which is
he's
gigantic. He's on a giant base. He's thick.
Yeah, I can say from looking through the list again, there were not a lot of those combinations. Just like there weren't a lot of mortars either.
Weird.
Fucking mortar, bro.
Because I can beat 10 Lehman Russes. Not that hard. 6 Lehman Russes with 9 mortars and 20 Casterkin and Leontis and the Barbican's key and orders and
bodies.
All of that. That's a lot harder. In fact, it just tables you in a turn.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The other thing that I do want to say is actually Uprising, based on the boards I saw, had relatively dense terrain, which makes, if you're playing like a lot of Lehman Russes, a little bit more challenging, but not. I'm not trying to say that Guard are not OP before somebody gets upsetty in the chat about me saying that they're not. They are way too good, and Casterkin are broken.
You're just commenting about the fact that win rate hasn't cracked 50.
Yeah, just commenting about it because I like hurting Anthony's feelings live on air repeatedly.
I mean, you're not going to hurt my
that
feelings
out there.
You can't hurt my feelings soon, because my feelings are going to be tied to me dying on objectives. If you kill me, sweet. If I kill you, also fine. Who cares?
Also, I'm not really trying to hurt Anthony's feeling because Anthony is a nice person.
I do my best.
Yeah. Alex Taus raises a good point. So the terrain at Uprising was reasonably dense, but they used fixed layouts such that there were some layouts where you could not hide on anything but your home objective.
Interesting.
So there were a lot of and I was looking at this from a lot of the top-down views from pictures from the weekend. There were a lot of like wide open fire lanes that armies like Guard and Admech and Voten could take advantage of.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Seems real.
No, I mean, I'm pretty terrified of guard right now, to be honest.
I think Brian has found us out. Next, it's going to be Jeremy saying Dark Angels are just fine. On
Oh,
our-
they are. They're
They're
perfectly
totally
fine right now. You
Yeah.
don't need to touch them.
No, 100%. They're normal.
Yeah.
Jack, what was the last set of models you bought?
I think it was 3 Land Speeder Vengeances, a Storm Speeder, and 9 Black Knights. And Sam,
Just
now that you
curious.
mention it.
Man,
How
I
many
guess we
Black
can
Knights
add-
does that bring you to, though? That's the real question.
That will, after my Warp Fire order is complete, bring me to 21.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then we do have a CRS update. I'm just going to trail off of that and let everybody make of it what they want, because that's Jeremy / Jack saying that Dark Angels are okay. Just going to put it out there.
No, they're busted as hell.
They
But
are.
like, maybe I'll play them in 10th. They seem awesome. I'll play them now. Don't get me wrong. I'm playing them now. This is an investment for the future too.
I mean, it's a stylish army.
It is.
The fast shooting army is going to be good in the future? What?
Never.
I mean,
guessed,
I don't-
Man.
I have to say this anytime I say anything about the future. I don't know. I don't know what's in 10th or whatever or anything.
But maybe.
But
Maybe
maybe,
they
it's
restrict-
good. I don't know. Okay. I'm not a
But-
playtester. I don't have the rules.
Maybe
But
they
fast
restrict
shooting
everybody-
armies with reasonable combat options,
They've always been
like say what Harlequins were like before they got nerfed, probably good. Just
Oh,
saying.
Harlequins are still
Maybe.
really good, by the way.
Yeah, Harlequins are also still fine.
I
Just
played them into
harder
Iron
to
Hands
play.
yesterday. And
It's very unfair.
it turned out to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Are
Wow.
you saying that an army that loves its rerolls like real hard doesn't like when you turn all of its rerolls off?
Well, that they don't like that. They also don't like hitting on 4s.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
love
their whole
that.
shtick is
Half I like
ignoring
that.
heavy
Don't worry,
penalty.
we're still getting there.
Yeah.
And they also don't like me going from my whole army is unshootable behind a wall to my whole army is within 6 inches of every model in your army. They don't love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Suboptimal.
It was rough.
Also,
Jeremy,
God,
do you-
give your infantry squads or characters, because that Jester's got something to say about their existence.
It's true.
Yeah.
Those guard
Yeah.
characters go away when you can Tesla strength 6 damage to gun into them. Unless you buy that Ogre and Bodyguard, then it maybe won't, but maybe
Yeah.
still will. Jeremy, do you remember what the Votan win rate is for arcs? I think it's in the 40s.
It's low.
People haven't
I have
switched
it in
to
front of me. Just give me a second.
People haven't
Okay.
switched to the superior 25 Zerk list yet.
While Jeremy looks it
And
up,
that
I'm
list
going to go
only went up
through.
what 75 points.
Yeah.
Not
Only
enough.
just
through
on the
this.
Zerks.
Leagues was a 42.3% win rate.
Okay.
84 games. So
Just run 25 Zerks in 5 Sagittar and make Anthony happy.
The point isn't that list went up. The point is that list went down because it doesn't have to run troops anymore.
True.
The troops are the best part of the list.
the SAGs are the best part of that list
That's fair. That's fair.
because
The bikes are
they
the
have
best
an
part of the list.
eye-watering amount.
No, the
of
SAGs are
shooting.
the little turtle
Yeah, the little
vehicles.
bitty guys.
Yeah, the little scoots.
Yeah.
The little
John
scoots,
calls-
yes.
John calls Sagittarum Sagittars just to piss me off.
All right, now we'll go through CRS and then we will do some meta stuff and then we'll do
All right.
questions.
Luke is saying that
Well,
the win rate is nothing, no bearing on the Dark Angels I'm painting. For your information, Luke, they were already all painted. The only thing that has actually crossed my painting desk recently was 30 infiltrators.
to be
Weird.
fair, of all the people,
That's a
you can't
lot.
really accuse Jeremy of bandwagging and jumping this particular instance.
I guess he's
I had
safe.
none, so I just
saying.
figured I'd paint them all up and then they're done.
Yeah, well, does anyone actually check your numbers? You could just say, yeah, Dark Angels, perfect 50% win rate. Ideal army, really.
Yeah, there's nobody to control me, Jeremy, and Cliff at all. It's true. It's actually
Yeah,
Unfortunately, the numbers the GW goes off of are ITC battles at practice games. So I could just literally Jeremy might just be on his phone at work at lunch, just plug in 1,000 games of Dark Angels versus Iron Hands.
No.
Dark
You
Angel.
use an Android emulator to create accounts and
No.
enter games.
don't
And
tell them how
that
to
way
do
you
it.
make sure that it's truly unreliable because you can because Tabletop's Battle Ass, when you extract the data, gives you the user ID, so you can filter out unique IDs if you think their data's wrong.
Jeremy, you're giving away your fucking ass, bro.
Yeah, what you're doing is like,
I'm not
gonna-
doing it. But
I'm
if I
gonna
was,
mute Jeremy because I can't have him telling people how to undermine all the stats work we do live on air.
Well, what you want to do is you want to go. Wait, does your data count practice games too?
No,
I will
No, it doesn't.
also.
Thank God. All right, I just wanted to make sure.
We only take data directly from BCP, so it's a little harder to foible, like to mess with it. And Jeremy actually QC checks it. So
People at home definitely don't make a fake GT super major or whatever. Have a fake 500 people there. All
I will also mute you, Jack.
Yeah.
I will do it.
Jeremy, take over.
Yeah, and especially don't do that down in Florida.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Don't do that. We're trying to help.
You're definitely helping my blood pressure. Okay, CRS.
focus.
It has been updated this week. Tom Ogden is still in first place at 2017. Mike Porter is at 1996 for his CRS.
CRS?
Second.
What is this wizardry?
This is our faction balanced player performance ranking system. So we take ELO
man.
4 players and ELO 4 factions and use them to offset each other to make a more if you play overpowered factions, then it affects how your CRS score is.
So when
basically.
I meta hop every single tournament, it doesn't.
It reduces your CRS.
So it reduces your CRS score
Yeah.
a little bit, but what it also does is if you're still really doing well, you're still going to be positioned in the top.
Yeah,
So
like
an important
of
note with
performance.
that is the People's Champion Porter in second, because he has played Harlequins, which would have had disgusting faction elo the entire time, but he's only lost 1 recorded game. So
Oh, is that WTC?
no, because
Damn it.
that's not a singles event. That doesn't count.
Damn it.
It's true.
Yeah.
2 recorded games, then get wrecked.
So Vic is in third. Manny Chima is in fourth. Innis is in fifth. He popped up last week into the week prior, up and back into the top 5. Nassim is in sixth. TJ Lanigan is in seventh. Jack is in eighth. David Gaylord is in ninth. And then 10th is Colin McDade.
All right.
And then Anthony is 19th.
Woo!
Because I like saying where the other hosts are at.
Yeah, you play too much Drukari, Anthony. I'm sorry.
Not in since we started doing this.
What? I haven't been paying attention. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't record that far back, actually.
We should though. This is
You know,
CRS.
it would have captured actually his last Drukari event,
No.
Oh, that's true. It would have captured Elvio. That's right.
because I started collecting this at the beginning of February 2022.
Mhm. That's right.
Oh,
It would have
but
captured
okay.
that.
Wait,
Oh,
hold
no,
on,
no,
hold on.
not.
Where's John?
Lennon is in 15th.
And where am I?
You're at 8th. You're
All right,
ahead
that's
of
all I care
John.
about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all you care about.
He
I mean, I can
doesn't-
switch over to just ELO, and then unfortunately, it's different.
Yeah.
Just ELO. John is in 4th, and you are.
Oh
In
no, that's looking way far
30th.
down. I'm in
You're in
30th.
30th. Yeah,
30th?
for Puerto Rico. Yeah.
What
Sorry,
did
buddy.
you do?
I don't know. How am I in
You're-
30th?
It comes down to if you lost a game that you were heavily favored to win, but you lost it because you were running a worse faction.
You drew against world leaders.
I did draw against.
That's what it was.
No, not only that, I went to a GT locally and I brought Custodes, and it was 6 Dreadnought Custodes and 3 Caladius. And it turned out the terrain, when Quentin told me it was crap terrain, what he actually meant was it was very, very heavy.
Oh
like,
no!
like extremely heavy terrain. And then what happened was I paired up into 9 Custodes bikes and a couple dreads, went second on Dawn of War, lost like 4 of them turn 1, and then almost won and didn't. And then the following round, I paired up into a GSC player in the 0-1 bracket. Okay, in the 0-1 bracket, I deploy on the line, and it is Games Workshop terrain, but more dense and more move blocky. And then he goes first, and he move blocks every single one of my dreads with bikes. And I did win that game, thank God. But I was staring at the board on his turn 1 going, oh my God, am I about to go 0-2? Like, is that what's about to happen?
Is that my life? Am I an 0-2 gamer now?
Because I don't outscore him. He's GSC and he's move
Yeah.
blocking me. So like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, it's a rough day in the office, man.
Yeah.
And to-
yeah.
Jack is explaining his 6 losses that he has recorded in our
Well,
and
database.
That's
To answer-
the GSC I did manage to win.
Oh, okay.
And
I
to
did not
answer
go into
Luke's-
2 shield
Oh.
captains charging through walls and being assholes did win that game. Yeah. Good job, guys. Love you. Anyway,
And then to answer Luke McCarthy's question of where Nick Nanavati is, he is in 56th in CRS.
That's pretty good. He doesn't really
Yeah.
play the game.
No, he's still there though. He's still fine.
He's only played, I think, what, 2 events? 1 event this year?
He's played. He won that tiny thing with GSC, and then he played some other bigger event. If I remember,
he-
right.
He's
think he-
23-1 for wins, losses, and draws across GT. So he's got a 90.4% win rate.
He
That's
drew
pretty
against Blake.
Oh, he played Motor City as well.
He played Motor City, but he drew against Blake Law.
That seems real.
Yeah, and then he lost once at Motor City to Joel Wilson, who beat all of us.
Not me.
Sure, were you there to be beaten, or had you already lost?
Yes, I had already lost though.
Cool. Moving on.
All right, we're gonna go into. Oh no, go ahead. Actually, Jack, finish your story, and then
No, it's just something about that event. Joel beat me
All of Art of War.
all of Art of War in a row, like back to back to back.
Yeah.
And John, whenever I talk about it or anything in even earshot of him, he'll go, "I wouldn't have lost that game." I'm like, "Screw you, John. Fuck you. Yes, you would.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that."
He was on the roll, man. No stopping the momentum.
No, it was triple Maleceptors at 170 points
That'll
With
do
all
ya.
the casts.
with 4 casts.
That'll also do you.
Yeah, he almost won that game too with sisters.
Yeah.
Didn't win
Take
though. Like didn't
36
win.
mortal
Just for everyone.
wounds.
Close, but no cigar.
Oh no, not quite. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do plugs real quick, and then we're gonna transition into something else. Probably this
Questions?
mountain of questions that we have for both us as a podcast and Jack specifically. If you all are enjoying our content, you can support us at patreon.com/statcheck. We would appreciate anything you give. If you give $5 a month, you can join our Discord and you can get way more of us, and you can get access to all of our bonus content like Enter the Matrix before it is released to the general public. You can also get access to other funny things like whenever we do bonus random nonsense. Like I think now that we've hit 160 Patreons, we're going to watch the SpongeBob movie together all on stream and probably drink during it. I don't know.
Certainly drink during it.
We appreciate if you can or cannot give us anything. If you can just drop us a like or a follow on youtube.com/c/statcheck. Drop us a like, drop us a follow, drop us a comment. All those things help the algorithm and help boost us so that we get more stuff. We're also nearing on super chats, which is something that you guys keep asking for. If we get up to 1,000 followers, we can start dropping super chats, which is always fun. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. We're going to transition now into questions, and we're going to start with the first question in Discord. Actually, Jack, why don't you do your plugs since you're our guest? Do your plugs. Where can people find you and the stuff that you do?
Customer service, Jack. This is my favorite.
I hate this. All right. All right, you can find me as well as Richard Siegler, Nick Nanavati, John Lennon, and Mark Perry over at theartofwar40k.com. That's theartofwar40k.com. Also, I guess this guy up here, probably, I don't know, you're not in videos, so whatever, get bent.
That's true. I'm not usually in videos.
You're not usually in videos. You turned down the offer of coming out here to do some stuff, so it's like whatever, dog. I don't even know you.
Hard.
Join
I
my
live
team.
in the middle of nowhere, and
Get
I'll
on my
go
team.
there.
Get on my team, Anthony. Do it. Anyway, where was I? Yes, theartofwar40k.com. We have a Discord. It's better than these losers Discord because we actually win events.
Whoa.
We've got an Innis.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Innis
of
does
all-
win events for
Sorry.
one.
First of all, we have an Innis. Second of all, I am the only thing keeping your Discord alive, so watch your mouth.
What are you talking about? Maybe the chaos parts of it.
We've seen some of the
Yes, you
takes
can
in the
also talk to
Votan
Anthony
chat.
in our Discord too. Okay.
You can't get away from me, is what Jack's
like-
trying to tell you.
That's the last thing that StatCheck has over us. All right. Oh, but now we have Anthony too. So, like, why are you even here? Leave en masse and come to theartofwar40k.com.
Nailed it.
All right, we're gonna start questions now because that was great.
Pirate plugs are the best plugs. We
I
just
just
want
lost
to
it
take your
partway through and I just
subscribers.
couldn't
Run
find it
away.
again.
I regret so many things, but That's not one of them. That's fine. So
So
Derek,
apparently our website is the War Room now because we did a big website switch. Whatever. I don't know our own website. It's fine. It was the
I love that.
hardcore40k.com
Amateur hour
as of like
subscriber
2
steal,
weeks
bro.
ago. Whatever.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not on that mailing list. Okay,
So
I
if
don't
you-
use our website.
If you want to ask questions of us while we stream live, you can join our Discord or you can ask them in YouTube. Our show is every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central. Jesus Christ, why do I do this with you guys?
love it,
We're
you
gonna
son.
start with I do love all of you, it's true. Even Jack, I don't know why, but sure, why
We'll
not?
see what we can do about that.
Hey, Nathan's rooming with me, so no. I want to sleep.
All right, now on to questions from the Discord. The first question comes from Derek, who is one of those Death Guard players who I think is better than Don Hoosen.
Yeah.
I'm actually no pretty
One
much.
of many.
Does Don Hoosen come after you guys when you talk about Death Guard too?
No, we just go
No.
after him.
That's
We just-
I'm fair. I mean,
Yeah.
fair. The cycle of life, right? You go after him, he comes after us. We go after you. It's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
We also go after Siegler's Votan chats regularly in
No
our
comment.
Discord, which is always fun. That's the best. Somebody clip that for me. I'm going to use that to comfort myself late at night. Does he
I'm gonna
think
die now? It's what's gonna happen.
Jack? Do you think
my image on the like our banner in the war room is just gonna disappear, and suddenly I will never be heard from again.
You're just gonna get Thanos snapped away? It's
So you
true.
got a
Yeah.
comfortable space in that fucking square, buddy. If you ever
8
need to go
Terminators
home.
gonna teleport behind me and shoot me and do 7 mortal wounds, and I'm gonna die.
Oh no, dude, not the 7 mortal wounds.
Oh,
I'm dead. I'm also gonna take a lot of AP 0 and 1.
That's right.
It's true.
Yeah.
Watch
It's
out.
gonna teleport though, and thus give you the momentum, so it's all good.
We're stopping this fight. I'm literally die.
All right.
All right. Derek's question: do you think that Adepticon TOs will ever enter the modern 40k era for standards?
No. I don't think.
Adepticon?
Yeah.
Adepticon.
No.
yeah.
No, there's
Okay.
no chance until they get punished for, and people just don't go to the 40k champs event, which they won't because Oldhammer works on momentum. They're
It's
just
also
going to
really cold
continue to
out.
be garbage town nonsense forever.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely not learning. They're going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Like their thing about how they're just using GW's rules. So it's not like they're joining the community in any kind of sense. They're just using GW's rules that are printed in the book. Fine, whatever. But the fact that they came out with if you want to make top 16, you have to get 20 paint points. Like, I'm not a great painter, but if I take a long time, I can get decent results.
I had that really dope Trajan that TSA blew up.
I think that's a pain point, Anthony.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks. Yeah. I can do a good job when I put time into it. So that model had a lot of time in it, is the point.
See, that makes sense.
But I can't guarantee I'm going to hit 20 pain points, especially if I don't do a display board because I have to fly there and I don't make $1 billion.
That's
I'm not
where you just
buying a seat.
contact.
You know, I wouldn't buy a
local-
seat for a baby, let alone my display board. And the display
That's
board I
right.
care about a lot more. So,
course.
of course, I mean, I could just steal someone else's, but I hear that gets you DQ'd from Texas events.
It does.
Yeah.
But
It's
thankfully,
Good
this
thing
is
that the event's
Chicago
not in
event.
Texas.
Thank you. Thank you. It's in Chicago.
Yeah, you're ready.
But yeah, I mean, I can show up and the guy goes, well, I don't think your submission really wowed me. So you get 17. So have fun at 17th place going 6-0. I'm like,
It's because it's not a
Yeah.
lasagna. It's not basically a lasagna that's called pizza, so that's why it's
Oh,
not gonna win.
It's like a bread bowl. Fucking garbage.
what are you talking
now,
about? That shit is awesome.
No, it's not.
Wow, thank you, Jack. Actually, I was just
Northeast
dipping
with
on my
terrible opinions.
own city to
Like-
like get past this question.
It's the best part of Chicago. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
Well, that's
God.
actually rude. Take that back. That's not true.
oh,
Now nobody wants any piece
No.
of this.
yeah, no. Oh my
All
god.
right, Jack. what are
Whether
your
that's an
top-
insult or a compliment to the pizzas is wildly up to you.
Yeah.
But continue. No,
What are your-
Adepticon will not. Will never.
It's true. But what are your top 3 tips for people who want to become a top ranked ITC player?
Well, Anthony's working on getting there. So what are you doing?
One day at a time, baby. I suggest never playing a teams event. If you do that, it will immediately ruin it for you
Yeah.
forever. So don't do that. go to big events a lot, get a nice, comfy IT job so you can focus on other things during your workday, and meta whore. Those are the best three.
Yeah. First off, yeah, if you ever go to WTC or ATC or whatever, you will stop caring about singles. Anthony's 100% right there.
That's true.
WTC especially, you will stop
Oh,
caring about singles.
So bad.
Like I care about singles because I'm a sicko, but
yeah,
WTC is like the only event for me now. The biggest one I'm thinking of. As soon as we can start workshopping, I will. But like in terms of what you need to do to become better, it's mostly reps and trying to learn from those reps. Right? You need to be in the gym working constantly, whatever. You need to get games. You need to get games against opponents who are better than you, ideally. And you need to seriously think, what could I have done better? Because as soon as after a game, you're like, oh, that game was just, I couldn't have done anything. It was fucked. I can't win. This is like, yeah, sure. You're not going to actually do better than 3-2 at an event. Like
it's okay to feel that way, but like recognize that maybe that's not 100% true.
Yeah. You can always do something to help. I mean, sometimes you go second into Iron Hands and you are also playing Iron Hands and then you get blown up.
Yeah, what you should have done was gone first.
What you should have done was gone first. That's a good point, Anthony. Thank you. But also what you should have done was not play an army. If you want to be consistently good, just the list design creation part of that was what went wrong.
Because it means you're playing a coin flip army, which
50-50s.
Yeah, 50-50s gets you to a solid 2-2. But the other thing, and I'll actually draw on a little bit on the teams thing, is that yes, don't play team events because you will stop caring about singles results. That being said, there is also something to be said for, a game might completely blow out and there was no path back into it for you. But if you can learn how to scrounge 5, 10, 15 points from that match, more than you would have otherwise, then the next time you go into that and it's not a coin flip, you're going to win that game even harder.
It's true.
The next question is apparently, when are you going to join the Stat Check Discord? And are
Literally
you going to join the Stat Check Discord?
I can answer that for him. The second this ends, I will send him an invite. That he was told that it was conditional on him coming on the show.
Well,
him being here.
Listen, I would have accepted coming on the show. It's just my good friend Anthony Violence Vanilla did not offer me one.
Oh, now you're on. Easy.
Apparently, there's 2 other people he likes more than me. Whatever, that hurts, but it's fine. I assume one was your girlfriend.
Yeah, she's been on the show a bunch on accident. Actually.
Right. So that leaves only one other person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Steve Joel, which I think you're okay with.
I had no part of, so you're good.
Right. Okay. Hey, we're still up for that smooching sesh at LVO?
You got to take that up with Nathan now. I heard that offer earlier. I don't know, bro.
The next question I think is a little bit more important is, how do you not tilt against people who are petty or use gotcha moments?
That's a good question.
That can be difficult. Partly it's that petty and gotcha moments only get you so far. So once there's a certain point you reach where you don't generally lose to people who are pulling petty and gotcha moments. Because like and once you're petty and gotcha and you show it, like I'll be petty and I will gotcha, and trust me, it's going to be okay. Or I won't, and that drives it in even harder. Like if I'm like, no, dude, you can take it back. That's fine.
Yeah,
but
I like that.
How to not tilt it's hard because that's very personal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with understanding like what motivates you to go to an event, what motivates you to do well, and how to carry, like what makes an experience carry over to your next game or to future turns. Because you can't always outplay it. I mean, there are people who are good who are also jerks, and it happens. It's a little less common at the top. People tend to be good at the top, like good socially, but there are people out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of hard. You just, like any other bad beat moment, you got to try to reset, find whatever resets you the best. If that's literally popping the clock over to you saying, listen, I just got to take 5, and then if you need to ask a judge to watch your table and they're willing to do that, cool. If not, you can just walk and go to the bathroom for 5 minutes, come back, clear your head, get a drink of water, come back. Like giving yourself some space can really help there.
That is a really good bit of advice. And if a game has tilted you off the face of the earth in the same way, go outside, go for a walk, take advantage of the 5-10 minutes you have between rounds after you've moved your army to the right table, and do the same.
Yeah.
All advice I should have taken the last time I got tilted that hard. Now I'm going to get you in trouble. Yeah, I'm bad at taking my own advice too. It's fine. Who's the messiest at the Art of Warhouse?
Can I guess before he answers?
Yeah. I mean, I just told you, but it's fine. Continue.
Oh, I didn't hear you. It's got to be Nick, right? Surely.
It's 100% Nick.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
And then, no, go ahead.
No, that's just it.
Explain it.
That's the answer. There's no debate.
No.
Okay. Now I'm going to not just ask Grant's questions because he asked like 7. Joel asks in the Discord, what is your number 1 tip for new Harlequin players looking to become good Harlequin players?
Number 1 tip is very easy for any army, which is practice more. Practice more against better players. It's to... You have the capability to go very aggressive because you're very fast, you're in boats, it takes your opponent multiple activations to disembark your units, then kill the unit, then kill the character behind it. So learning the intricacies of how characters function is like a big part of Harlequins now, especially now.
Yeah.
For sure. Then you also have the capability to go very aggressive, as I said. And what you want to do is, I think right now you're not durable enough to jam your army in the center, take a hit, then hit your opponent. You need to force them to come to you so you can hit them first. Because like if you let Iron Hands shoot you, I don't care if you have no rerolls -1 to hit, you're still dead. If 2,000 points of Iron Hands get to light you up. So what you need to do, you still have decent scoring, not as good as you had before, but you still have decent scoring. Generally what you want to do is you want to fall into a pattern of outscore, and then once you can engage, everything goes in. Yeah.
You can't piecemeal as Harlequins. It gets too like easy to like kill transport, kill things inside. You want to put them in a situation where it's like kill 2 transports, the stuff inside got back behind a wall. They take another transport down to like 2, but they can't quite kill it, and then it gets awkward. That's the goal.
Yeah. All of your army at once, all the way in or all the way out is basically the idea. And also transports near walls constantly because you want to be able to get out, lose a guy to disembark or whatever, and then use the squad in the following turn. And as Anthony said, it's very easy. Like if you offer up 2 boats plus 2 squads of Harlequins to kill the boats, kill the Harlequins. We're good. It's also very unreliable that 2 squads and 2 boats is going to do anything worth your time.
Yep.
Whereas if you jam 8 boats with 8 troops and 3 characters plus the death, 4 characters plus the Death Jester, you table people.
Yeah. That's
because you just have enough activations that, oh, that boat rolled no wounds. That boat rolled 3 6s. Like it's all the way in, all the way out, score until you can hit your opponent and learn how to use characters really well.
To address what Logan said here, which is, don't you piecemeal the Twilight build by CP building and then throwing 12 in at once? I don't think those builds work anymore because of guard.
Well, also they don't work because the 5-up invuln is like not a big deal on transports. It's not great, not that big of a deal.
Oh yeah, Twilight kind of like face tanks sometimes, right? You'd be like, I have -1 damage, -1 attack, -1 this. So
yeah, like combat armies, what you would do is you'd like if you needed to, you'd run in the center, be -1 to hit, -1 to wound, -1 attack, 3-up invuln with a 6-up feel no pain, and like things just couldn't deal with you at that point. And that option is clean off the table. And realistically, you didn't go to a 3-up invuln most of the time. 4-up was enough. But you're not spending the CP on it. 12-man squads just don't work. They just don't work anymore, unfortunately. You have to run boats with characters, and then you can from at people. It beats shooting armies pretty good, honestly.
It's real good at that. Yep.
But you have to hit Iron Hands first, which you can do because you move, 16, shoot 6 with your fusions, which is what they care about. And then you hit them with characters, get good at disembarking a troop master, advancing him, going, hitting a unit, killing it, getting back in a boat that is now behind a wall, things like that.
Makes sense. The next question is from Dan F is, why did you choose Blood Angels for LVO? And then what goes into these types of decisions for you?
Can you give me that again?
Why did you choose Blood Angels for LVO? And then what goes into making those kinds of decisions?
Well, a series of very long phone calls with Anthony is what went into making that decision. Anthony, do you want to just tag team the story of why I'm on Blood Angels?
Sure. So if you listen to me long enough, I will win. That's the short version. And the long version is that I played a practice weekend where I actually got to see like the Chaos Gate table in person. And I played exactly 2 games on it and was like, I got to make a phone call, and went and talked to Jack for a bit. Because that table, despite a long history of frontline tables not being very dense, if you play the Chaos table with the first floor blocked on the ruins that they say to block, is rather dense. And that L creates fucked up angles if you place it correctly, which immediately puts you into like, oh, Blood Angels are a real army, and Blood Angels happen to be really, really good, into a lot of the other stuff that's really good, unless he plays against specifically John. Which, if that happens, unlucky, fair enough.
Whatever. He's my friend. One of us continues. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
And maybe I win and get to hold it over him forever. Like, what's it between friends?
Yeah. But the nightmare is that you play like Innis, then John, or like John, then Innis.
Whatever, I'll beat Innis. It's okay.
Oh, strong.
Ooh. Yeah. Luckily, I probably won't have to back that up.
Yeah. 1 in 1,000, baby.
So I was on Harlequins. It's basically Quentin Johnson and I wrote a Harlequins list. It's the one that he's on right now. So that was the list I was going to submit point for point, same one, because we worked on it together. And then I talked to Anthony, as I do sometimes, and he was like, hey, Jack, you know what's the best army in the game right now? Anthony, what is the best army in the game?
It was Thousand Sons and Flamers.
What is Harlequins bad into?
Thousand Sons and Flamers.
What's good into Thousand Sons and Flamers?
Your favorite.
Blood Angels.
Specifically.
There's also an element here. I mean, it's a series of phone calls over a testing weekend where I eventually decide I want to settle on Blood Angels and work on the list and whatever. But the main thing here is that LVO is a super weird random event. There's no one clear best army to either counter or, I mean, there is, but it's not like half the factions, half the events, like half the people are going to be on. It's like one army is the best, but it's going to be as equally represented as anything else, if anything less. But there isn't one clear pick, right? There's not one clear winner to either take or directly try to counter, or take and try to counter the mirror, which is like always the strongest strategy. If there's one good army, is you take the best army and then you build for the mirror. That just wins events like every time.
Right.
But there isn't one clear option. And so I can drive myself crazy trying to think of what ifs and how to tech against this and tech against that. And what if I play this? And what if I play that? And who knows? And then there's this player with this. Oh, I hear this player's on this army and I hear this player's on that army. And like,
drive yourself insane.
Yeah. I was in the middle of driving myself insane.
Yep.
And then I was just like, listen, you can't control everything, I'll take Blood Angels. It's good on this terrain. I won't auto lose to Flamers plus T-Suns, if anything, it's like, but whatever. The point is, Jesus, take the wheel. I'll go. Pairings work out how they work out. What happens. I know the army inside and out. I know it real good. I enjoy it a lot. It also gets a lot worse after Arcs of Omen. And then we're just, whatever happens will happen. It'll be fine.
Makes sense. And then as long as we have Adam Camilleri in the chat, we'll just ask his question. Why is Vegas the best? Why is Vegas the best and somehow the worst at the same time, since we're also talking about LVO right now?
Oh, man. Well, Vegas is the best because we get to see everybody, and it's the worst because it is a large event that isn't as cool as the WTC.
And is in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I mean, it's cheap to get to Vegas. That part's great. Like, it's very easy and affordable to get to Vegas.
Yeah.
Now, apparently this is just
Also,
a question that... Oh, go ahead.
By the way, one other thing about Blood Angels, I played with Fury of the Lost for one time, and I was sold.
Yeah, I was,
good.
When it first came out. That Fury was good. I was like, Jack, it's nuts. And he was like, it can't be that good. It's probably fine. I think you're over exaggerating. And I was like, no. Just try it. And he called me after the first game he played. He was like, I'm sorry. Like, listen, I don't apologize often to you, but in this one specific
this conversation up like completely. Yeah. Like this is conversations happened that weekend, but that conversation was made up.
Yeah, no, that one's fake. Yeah. But yeah, he was like, oh shit, it's actually free. And I was like, I told you, bro.
Yeah, I was like, I lost 3, like I killed only 2 units, lost every squad, and then Lamardes killed another 1 or 2, and that's a 15. It's like, cool. Yeah.
It is one of the most frustrating secondaries to try to deny because you just score it.
Why bother?
It also
Just
adds the
accept it.
dimension of if I run into a bad matchup, what are the bad matchups? Tyranids and Tau. Those are like the like, oh god, matchups. Those are the I didn't want this. I outscore both of them like super hardcore. So they have to table me.
Mhm.
All right, that's a decent dynamic. Yeah, it's a bad matchup, but like that's an in I can use to try to win the game.
Well, the upshot there too is that they like by trying to table you, they have to come at you, which is always a little dangerous against Blood Angel.
Yeah, like that. I would love it if certain Tau players had to just run clean into my charge range. Yeah,
That's
that's
Perhaps at 25 instead of 18. Just
yeah.
Anyway,
This is apparently the question our Discord just asks our guests, I guess, is what's your favorite way to have an egg?
Fried or omelet.
fair enough.
Yeah, omelet slam.
Omelets.
It's kind of like the bread in a sandwich. Honestly, I just like sandwiches.
And then Lucas has an ever important question of why you know Orc. Why don't you play Orcs, Jack?
I played Orcs to the GW finals. What do you want?
Why are you not playing Orcs for LVO?
Well, yeah, I understood that was the question. Listen, I can't be tied down, baby. I live the way of the wind.
That's true.
And I play an army. I play the armies I want. You know, I play the armies that call to me, that speak to me. And you know, if you want me to settle down, I just ain't the settling down type.
That's right.
I moved through. We had a great weekend,
Keeps
and
it
now
moving.
I got to move on.
For anyone who is not followed, Jack has played in 9 events so far this year in our stats, and he has played 7 different factions.
How many of those did he win?
He won 3 of them so far.
All 3 of them, I showed up to the event with a new army with 0 practice.
Yep.
Whether this
He
was
won the US Open Chicago with Harlequins.
no
He
practice,
won Nova Open with Necrons.
first game,
And then Frontline Gaming Cherokee Open with Tau.
same thing, first game.
Oh man, that was such an annoying.
I remember watching the
Christ.
finals.
Oh
of
yeah,
Cherokee.
yeah. Hold on. Have you guys seen Antwhelp?
Oh god, dude.
You haven't?
Jack has
there
this
any way-
picture of me.
Is there
of,
any way I
well,
can get this on screen? On
if you send it to me, I'll put it on, or I'll send it to Jeremy.
you should not have said that. That's about to happen.
This is a
This-
picture of me watching Quentin play Tau after I finished my last game. I'm exhausted. I look like a fucking Warzone person. And I'm watching Quentin roll these dice, and you can see in my eyes that I'm over it.
It's like a man who has seen a thing his brain cannot comprehend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember watching the 2 because it was the 2 of you on stream at the end, right?
No, it was. Oh yeah, it was me and Quentin. Yeah, it was me and Quentin. I mean, I don't know what it says about me that I can't win with the armies that I practice with, and I only win with the armies that I don't. Nothing I'm gonna analyze in any detail. I tell you that much.
Yeah, don't think about that too much. Maybe just keep it moving.
Practice is a lie. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. I don't...
So Vic Vijay has a question while Jeremy's gonna put up the picture. There's the picture.
Oh yeah, it's glorious.
Wait, you skipped like 8 questions there, bro.
I'm allowed to ask whatever questions I want in whatever order I want.
That's true. Just making sure you saw the other ones.
No problem. I'm asking a simpler question before I ask Adam Parmenter's like dense as hell questions.
Uh-oh.
Go for it.
Vic Vijay asks, how scared are you of UK dominance at LVO?
Well, scared enough to take Blood Angels after I saw the 2 of you on it at whatever that event was. It's your local pub.
Yeah.
The 500-person super major that you hopped in a lorry to go down to your local pub and play, 6 rounds of 40K. You specifically play 6 rounds of 40K. David got to play 7, I think.
David played 7. Yeah, that's true. I think Vic only played 5.
What? I thought
You went undefeated. You
went
didn't make top cut.
No, I'm looking forward to meeting Vic at LVO. From what I've heard, he's a lovely human. and
He's
I'm
just the
looking forward
best. Just don't take any list writing advice from him because he will try and fuck you.
Okay, cool.
You're allowed to take list writing
No.
advice for when he's not at your event.
But yes,
Even then,
scared enough to take Blood Angels. What does that say?
yeah.
And
Fair.
3 squads of infiltrators in this Blood Angels build. Like, there's no teleporting anywhere on the board. I'm sorry, flamers get fucked. Like, it's
Not doing it.
you have to play a normal game of 40K with me, and then I will plant an Incarmine axe straight through your guy's face. Anyway,
Okay.
moving on.
What did you learn from WTC? Which is a question from Sam Lemon.
Oh, that's a dense question.
Yeah.
Oh, Anthony, WC chat real fast.
This you go for it, bro. I'm on this all the time, espousing the things that I've learned about WTC.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure Anthony was like, we all had our heads up our asses or whatever. I don't think that's true.
No one listened and we threw.
Yeah, that's just not true. That's revisionist history. But like, we weren't as prepared as we could have been. But I think that wasn't because we didn't know. I don't think that's because we were putting in less effort than we could have been. I mean, I don't think that's particularly important discussion to have. But like, listen, buddy, I was playing so many games of 40K and talking endlessly about pairings and matchups and team comps and what people would be on and everything. I think it's revisionist history to think that we were that. We came this close to winning the whole thing. Unfortunately,
and yet
we got fourth. Yeah, we came 2 points away with Australia and 3 points away with Germany from winning the whole thing. We learned a couple things about team, about how to manage people on certain armies, people in certain roles, people in certain situations, what people should do. Don't want to get into that particularly. But I also think that there's a certain amount of anytime somebody's on a list you don't understand. They are a good player, generally. They're a good player. They think this list is good. They think it does something. Then they took it to their team and they got 7 other people minimum who are also all good players on board enough to take the army. So no army is a joke, because 8 people who are heavily invested as you are, if not more, they all agreed to take this to WTC. So that's the number one. You can't just laugh at any list because
sometimes you find out.
Sometimes you find out. And did Anthony go to Scotland and somehow come back with an immense fear of Team Australia? Sure. Maybe that happened.
I learned.
Yeah.
Team Australia, Team Poland, Team Germany. I was like, oh shit.
Sure. Did we come 1-2 CP stratagem away from winning against Australia? Maybe.
Again,
Maybe.
that was Germany.
Oh, was that Germany?
That was Germany.
They both had GSC?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Apparently GSC is just America's bane.
I guess. Who did
it makes
first,
sense for other reasons.
Brad.
Oh, okay. I
He
mean,
went 12-8.
yeah, it's fair.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
honestly, Brad did pretty good there.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, that matchup is not good.
Yeah.
So it's bad. It's bad.
1 unit of shotgun mans just removes your entire army off the board. You're like, all right, well.
Somehow that was a 20-point differential. I don't understand it, or 10-point differential. I don't understand it, but it happened.
Good job, everyone involved.
Yeah. But I think there's a certain amount of 8 people I don't think will do what you want at WTC. Like, you can get a very good team of 8 people, and we had a phenomenal team of 8 people. We really did. But I don't think a team of 8 people is what you need, which is why we have a team of like 20 people.
Right.
And 8 people will play, but 20 people are on the team. And what that means is that we have a very wide player base who plays a lot of different factions and who are being encouraged to play a lot of different factions. So we know everything inside and out. And if we go, what does this army do? There is not I do not know.
Yeah, not a.
It looks bad. I don't know.
You need to look at this. Watch out for that strat.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think our team comp was good. Anthony's list was bad, but he acknowledges that.
Oh god, it was so bad.
Yeah. Now, was that his fault? Absolutely. Why not? But
Sure.
no, it was not his fault. His list was bad. Another thing is I learned a lot more about, like, you just, I mean, I'm not in charge or anything, but everyone is in charge to a certain extent because you all collaborate. You have to. But Sean is in charge, and he'll let you know.
Sean is very in charge.
He's very in charge, but he'll let you help, and that's nice of him. You can't switch people around. I mean, you can't do anything with people that they're uncomfortable with, and that's a good rule in life. But that means if a player is a faction specialist, you either don't have them on your team or you have them on that faction. And
or you let them specialize, right?
Right. You have them on that faction or you don't have them on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Fair enough. Or you have them in a supporting role. Coach, perfect. If they're a very good player, they'd probably be a very good coach.
Yep.
You can't switch people around a lot last minute unless they are good at that. Some people are, some people aren't. Some people will physically threaten Nick Nanavati. But fair enough.
Yeah. Sometimes Nick just needs to be brought back to reality because Nick lives in Nick space where everything just works out through his mystical powers that he has.
Nick did a very good job as coach. He did
Nick was a
very
great
good job.
coach. Oh yeah, I'm just saying that Nick, like as a person, he has like this superpower where like no matter how fucked something looks, Nick is just like, and it's fixed. And you're like,
Multiple
how
times,
did you do that?
multiple times, I have gone to the Dunkin' Donuts near not our house, the house. I do not live here, but multiple times I've gone there and I'm like, Nick, do you want anything? He's like, yeah, can you get me a jelly donut? And they always give me 2 jelly donuts. Like it's happened 2 or 3 times. Like,
They
I
know,
would not have
bro.
bought him 2, but they
Yeah.
gave me 2. So here you go, Chief.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Nice. The next question, also from Sam, is what is the best piece of advice you have ever received, Warhammer or just in life?
Oh, that's hard. I've received a lot of unsolicited advice. Play Blood Angels to LVO. Great advice. Love it. Yeah.
Nice.
Play Blood Angels to a Carcosa Club RTT was probably the best single piece.
No, that was the best piece of advice. Yeah.
Right.
No, I don't know personal life, but 2 things. 1, yes, I played Blood Angels to a random event because random event while I was on vacation in New Jersey. And Anthony, who I had basically just met at ACO, was like, you can borrow one of my armies. I have and Blood Angels. And I wrote a 3 Redemptor Dreadnought Blood Angels list because I was like, screw it, Blood Angels are terrible. I'm just going to play, stock standard Marines and it's going to be worse, but whatever. And Anthony's like, yeah, I don't have any of that.
I was like, that's not real.
That's not real. I'm like, what do you have? And then I built a list that is 90% the same list as the list I'm playing at LVO.
Yep.
And it just worked out. Awesome. Great.
Smash.
And then I've been playing Blood Angels ever since. But also those screenshots of people asking Nick when I'm going to be on a Blood Angels thing. And he's like, I think you mean Black Templars. That should be next week. And they're like, no, Blood Angels, they just won an RTT with them. And Nick's brain like,
yeah,
that was great.
Yep.
But really, it wouldn't be a piece of advice, but it would be it was my game against Joel Wilson, which I consider to be kind of a piece of advice in a game, which is being aggressive in 40K is just good. Like generally being aggressive lets you control the tempo of the game, put people back onto their heels, make them play your game. You score primary, so even if you die, you don't care because hey, guess what? You have all the points and they have none of them. Yep. And that game really, because I'm naturally kind of an aggressive player, but I kind of toned that down. For a while, there was the Art of War style that all of Art of War did. That's kind of gone now. Only Siegs does that. But yeah, the Art of War style was sit back, passively outscore your opponent, and if they come forward, end them. But like literally sit back. My play style now is like I like to go to the center and then be like, it's up to you if you want to play the game. But like you'd sit back in your ruin and you'd send out a missile, they'd send out a missile, you send out a missile, they send a missile, you and somewhere in there you have 2 more points than them and the game ends.
Yep.
Now only Siegs plays that way. And that's fine. That was his personal play style, and that's how he plays. But I have started rumbling in the middle a lot more. That's the reason we have that Custodes Dreadnought list on Team WGC, by the way, is that game with Joel Wilson. 100%. Because you can just pressure people to the point where their army doesn't work properly because their buffs can't all go on everything that needs to fight all at once. Their points start getting docked because you're fighting over the middle, and that means you can go to their center. You can go to their home objective, but they can go to the middle, so it's not even. You're still getting 12s or 8s, and they're getting 4s and 0s. Mm-hmm. And you can control the pace of the game. You can really dictate how they get to play 40K. So in terms of 40K, I think that's probably the single biggest epiphany I've had in years.
Sick.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll add to that. I've learned something similar over the last year. The other thing that it does is it forces your opponent to make more mistakes.
For sure.
Because they realize that they're not in the driver's seat and feel the need to take that steering wheel away from you. And they'll try stupid shit that sometimes works, but often doesn't.
Yeah. And a lot of times what happens is, as you like elaborate on that, is that they have to try like 5 stupid shits and 3 of them will work out and 2 of them won't. And it's just horrible for them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all bad. I think just getting more aggressive generally can pay off. Oh, and I also, my personal favorite thing to do is I've played a lot of 40K over the last 10 years. A lot. I'm very comfortable, even if the game is in that position where units are all kind of intermingled with each other and your units are dying left and right and their units are dying left and right and units are just hitting units and it's just a bloodbath. I'm very comfortable there. Whereas my opponents generally aren't. And they make mistakes and they blink and they try to take a backward step or whatever. And that's just an edge you can really, if you can get familiar and very comfortable in that sort of scenario, it'll help you a lot.
That works in life too, by the way. Being broadly comfortable when like stuff around you is kind of chaotic works real good.
It's the whole martial arts sort of thing, Anthony.
That's true.
Yeah.
Eye of the storm, baby.
It's hard to focus on anything else while a dude's choking you out.
Or blasting your brains into mush.
Yeah. I mean, I learned that today when I had to catch an instrument that was going to crush me with its 400 pounds of weight. That was a great moment today.
But you did it.
I didn't because I went, oh, I should probably catch this and then caught it.
Well,
See?
Great.
So I am actually paying attention to your chat, by the way. Luke, who I know back from the New Jersey days and Mythicos and whatnot, used to play him all the time, says, I learned from Joel and not Anthony. Well, I got the epiphany from Joel, and then I had someone who was also an aggressive player to talk to and talk ideas with Anthony, whereas I do not find that here.
That's
at
true.
all.
That makes sense.
Which is fine. Everyone has their own play style, and that's how it is. But
yeah.
Now to ask a lighter question is, what do you like to do for fun outside of 40K? There's like 3 people who asked variations of that question in our Discord.
I'm a massive fight fan. Big MMA nerd. Huge MMA nerd. Love MMA. I'll talk forever about it if you let me. But I will. R.I.P. Glover. But yeah, only MMA fighter or only UFC fighter I've ever seen in person. He's not dead. He just retired and also had bad losses last time. But only UFC fighter I've ever seen in person. That was awesome. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is my personal hobby outside of 40K. And 4 years or so, blue belt, love it. Proselytize it to everyone who will listen, including Anthony, who already has had, pro fights.
Not pro, amateur.
You had, oh, sorry.
No
Organized fights.
Yes, and 10 amateur fights.
Sorry, my bad. But who already has a martial art? He does. It's just something that is in a completely different dimension. And also now that I don't work in retail and I'm not on my feet 8 hours a day, it is a little hard to keep the pounds off if you're not going somewhere and working out. Very easy to sit down at a computer working on PowerPoints all day and then find out that I look like a vampire.
Man, so, I definitely I understand that feeling though quite a bit.
Yeah.
Another question from our Discord is, do you think Necrons gained anything worthwhile from the points drops in arcs?
Give me a second to care.
You can have a whole 3 seconds. No? Okay.
Probably not. Right. I don't know. No, I mean, Warriors are 2 points cheaper. That's a lot cheaper. And then Armor of Contempt isn't around, so their shooting actually matters. Warriors gained a lot.
Makes sense. Why don't you respect the fearsome power of eliminators?
Have you been talking out of class, Anthony?
I would never. Who actually asked that?
Logan did.
Logan.
Logan knows. Logan probably looked at your list.
Are you the reason Logan's always so sassy? Is that for you?
We definitely.
Are you secretly? I need to start. No. There's no way I'm watching Stat Check, but like maybe coming on. More.
You can come on more. You want to come on? Just let us know. We'll have you on more. I don't.
Yeah. Well, it might get me out of the weekly meeting. Business.
There you go.
So
that's a good enough reason.
That's a great reason. I love that.
Yeah.
We're gonna go all the way back to fighting again, and we're gonna discount Anthony because of reasons. But who is the best fighter at Art of War? And if you had to choose a location to throw hands with Anthony, where would it be? So we'll have Anthony in the second question, but not in the first question.
With Anthony, it would be somewhere that is not wide open, very enclosed. Phone booth would actually be ideal.
Anywhere I can't throw
Also,
punches.
soft floors, kind of essential. Although I expect I will be the one doing the taking down instead of the opposite, mostly because if Anthony's taking me down, my hands have got to be incredible.
It's true.
So maybe hard floors. Hard floors, very enclosed. Think like a dense office. Think like with cubicles.
Like a helipad, but with walls.
Yeah. Think like a kitchen in a very cheap apartment. You know,
I like this Jason Bourne-esque kind of fight scene thing you're setting up here.
think some kind of Harry Potter bedroom under the stairs, right? That sort of
Can't stand
scenario.
up good.
Okay.
Yeah. Long story short, Anthony, me go to ground, Jack win.
Okay.
Anthony, no go to ground, Jack lose.
Yeah.
It's no good.
And the real answer is that none of us would beat Mark Perry in a fight because that guy is, I'm pretty sure, a half gorilla.
He's huge.
Yeah, he would rip
Works
our
on a
arms off and
farm.
beat them to death with them.
He works on a farm. He lifts. He's 350 pounds looking to go north of that,
Yeah.
like 330 looking to get heavier
Yeah.
in pure muscle. Yeah, that dude could pick us each up in one hand, crush us, smash us into each other, and throw us over his shoulder and go back to his tree farm.
I'm a pretty dense person who's not particularly easy to pick up. Mark picked me up literally with one arm, like just.
Yeah, he's picked me up before. He's like, congratulations, buddy. And he leaned like it was at an event or something. And he leans down, he grabs me at my knees.
Terrifying, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, Mark, then me and Anthony, let's say we're each specialists. We're
And
going
then
to go that way.
The rest.
There was actually.
Oh no,
seeds-
Adam.
Oh, Adam. Yeah, Adam's definitely. Yeah, no questions asked.
Adam can scrap.
Yeah, don't want to
mess-
discount Adam.
Don't mess with Uncle Vlad.
Yeah. And then after Adam, it's John. Then after John, it's Nick. Then after Nick, it's Siegs. And in that order is 100%. I have watched John and Nick have a wrestle bet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not going to go into detail, but John, then Nick is the
Okay,
bet.
got it.
Okay.
Understood.
Yeah.
And then who's the best cook in the house?
I'm very curious about that. I don't know who that would be.
Best cook. It's hard to say. Whenever we do like a big group thing, I mean, I definitely made the best meal. I did a Friendsgiving a year and change ago, and I baked a turkey, did the thing where you rub butter under the skin. It was super weird, made me feel all kinds of things.
This goes back to the statement about bugs and six-legged things and how you really like how thick they are.
Oh, turkeys don't have 6 legs, buddy. They just have 2. Weird.
I know, but hands under the skin. We're going into weird kink realms. that we don't
Whatever
need
you're
to.
into, Jack.
You brought it up, dude. Like
This is
I'm
the
just
judgment-free zone.
all right. If you want to project that onto me, that's fine.
Look, my thing says Dr. Stats Homunculus, so it's just okay. It's just
Got it. It had a bunch of other Thanksgiving stuff, and it was awesome. And I'm gonna take the title of best cook in Art of War.
Well, let them prove you wrong by making you something dope. The worst that could happen is you eat a good meal.
I will say Adrian is better than all of us. He's been staying here, and as a thank you present, he's like, I will make a very nice looking lasagna along with other stuff, and it looks like an Italian kitchen in there right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's very
Sick.
bright colored vegetables and fruit and whatnot, all getting tomatoes are technically a fruit, I guess, but it's all getting chopped up and like fresh and
That sounds awesome.
yeah.
And then we're going to go back to serious questions. Adam Parmenter asks a really good question, which is, what are the differences between players that go 3-2 or 4-1 and then players who win majors?
There is a whole difference. Like first off, nobody is a player who consistently wins majors. I'm sorry. That's just not a thing.
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing. Because the difference between there's basically like 2 tiers of players, which is players who consistently go 4-2, 5-1, and players who consistently go 5-1 with a shot to win. Nobody who goes to an event has more than a shot to win.
Yep.
Nope, not a thing. Because 40K is random. It is weird. You have to play multiple games to even make top cut. Any of those can go weird in any variety of ways. I tied world leaders. for
Yep.
example. And he's a good player, but I had a very tough game into your buddy with the Death Guard, Derek.
Derek.
Yeah.
One of my
Yeah.
patrons.
Yeah. So anything can go wrong in any variety of ways. So you can be the favorite, but that's like a plurality, not a majority.
Right.
See, I know stats.
Hmm.
The difference is probably in consistency. So it's probably in when you look to make that jump, you need to look to reduce your failure rate as much as possible. Right? You making plans that rely on making a 7-inch rerollable charge straight out done. You can't do that. Making plans that rely on a 6-inch rerollable charge, squeaky, because I failed those charges before. I failed 5-inch rerollables, but that's probably too much.
There's only so safe you can be.
Right. It's still a dice game,
Yeah.
but like it's in reducing at any point, reducing failure rates. So taking the safer option is generally going to lead you to taking a safer path to win the game is generally going to lead you to having more consistent results. And then there's the whole skill aspect, but the difference generally is practice and narrowing the failure rates.
Yep, makes sense. And then, man, I think this question might actually be too long, but it's worth maybe asking you to detail at a later point. Is what was the journey like for you, learning to play and going up through the ranks to become one of the best players?
Oh,
Well, yours is real long, right?
I've been 10 years.
Yeah.
It's long. It hasn't all. I've loved 40K the whole time. Hasn't always been fun. Sometimes it has. Sometimes it hasn't. That's largely due to my own psychology, which is not the healthiest way to approach 40K. I've seen a lot of people with healthier approaches to the game. Now, luckily, I am in a better place now. Right. But 6 years ago, or whatever, I wasn't, and that's just me being honest about it. Largely, what happened was I started playing, and I like strategy games and I like being competitive. So basically, that's 6 months after learning the game, I wanted to start going to events, and I was 15 minutes away from Nick when he was one of, if not the best player in the US 10 years ago. And so that local store was a hotbed for competitive players. It was very good. Like the RTTs there every month were just 8 GT winners and then 7 other people who could have been GT winners. Like very good opposition. So very quickly I got pretty good. I got pretty good fast because that's like the perfect environment to do well in. And I would go all the time, and I'd play every Wednesday, and I'd think about it all the time. I wouldn't think about my work, not work, my schoolwork, because why would I? So after about 2 years, I won the Nova Invitational, and then I won the month after I won BFS. Those were pretty awesome. Then
Winning
I stopped
BFS was
winning
huge
things
back then, right?
What's up?
Said winning BFS back then was huge.
Yeah, it was a big deal. Big deal. I was very proud of myself. The winning stopped after that. I would always go X and 1 event. I was so good at it. I mean, I wouldn't lose events. I wouldn't lose rounds after I'd already lost, but I was so good at losing events, like going X and 1.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the next GT I won was Warzone Atlanta a year and a half ago.
Holy shit, dude. That's a while.
Yeah.
That's a grind. I mean, that's an impressive thing to have pushed through that much, like not failure, but failure probably self-defined, right? Like I'm sure that had some level of like mental impact where you're like, why can't I close?
Yeah, I did. It was rough, dude.
Yeah.
It was, especially because like I was at a point where I felt like I needed it, like I just like for a while. I mean, not getting too into personal things, but that's kind of an issue that I have generally. And I mean, I think I won an event called Leprechaun.
That's a Mythos event.
A Mythos. Yeah, that was before I left. Yep. I should have lost that one. First off, it was a 14-person GT or whatever.
Yeah, that was when it was tiny. That was the one
before
I started.
Itty bitty. So first off, doesn't really count. Second off, I should have lost that one. I should have lost to Sam. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. I've known him forever. Sam, Death Guard player, Nova. Yeah, Sam Lucidi. I should have lost to Sam Lucidi, but he had a family emergency, left partway through turn 3. Anyway, I did win that, but I'm pretty sure between BFS 8 years ago and a year and a half ago, I didn't win a single GT, and I went to them every month, every couple months.
Dude,
Not
that's
as often
wild.
as
I didn't know
before.
that.
Yeah. So I mean, I might be glossing over like a minor one, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty
some
sure I would
small one
remember
or
it because it
something.
was a big deal for me.
So I guess
Yeah.
the question is like, how did you push through like kind of that moment in your life where you're like going X1 a lot, but then like obviously based on some context clues, you like had probably like a few conflicts internally about not winning events.
Yes.
So how did you push through some of that stuff and get
Okay, so I'm gonna give you two answers. One, I'm that mentally tough. Two, I didn't have anything else. So there you go. Also, a lot of my friends were 40K players. So like I'd go to tournaments just to
Hang out with
just
the
to see
homies.
them.
Yeah.
But, like my mood would crater the moment I would lose a game. It was terrible. It was a very unhealthy way to approach the game. I don't really have a solution to breaking out of it because my solution to breaking out of it was just start winning loser. You know, and now I think I am at a healthier place because I look at my role in the game. Like if I lose at LVO and I go X1, X2, X3, 1 and 2 and drop, you know, whatever. I'm not going to drop. But if I do flame out, it doesn't really affect anything. Which, sure, in the moment, I'm not going to be happy about it. Nobody really is when they're, you know, competing for number 1 ITC. But I'm a lot more okay with it now than I was before. And I'm not really sure. I think just having an identity outside of I have to be, people have to recognize me as good at 40K. And I think it's a very unhealthy thing to think. And I'm past that, which is very good. But I don't really know how to get past that. If anyone out there is looking at it, other than just have you considered taking armies you don't know at all and going to tournaments with them? Like,
yeah, I think
I
think the biggest thing is to try to find like additional points of identity, right? Like there's
that is definitely that is good advice.
It was a major. I'm not saying this like meanly or anything. That was like a major advantage I had coming into the space is that I wasn't attached to like win, loss, draw past my own competitive nature because I had all these other things that I had competed in before, right? I had fought, I had, you know, the WoW stuff. I had like, you know, I had a pretty good day job going, and as the best woman alive, like things are pretty good broadly. So if I lost in a game of 40K, I was like, oh, that sucks real bad. But you know, like how do I make that not happen again rather than like, my world is shattered, I'm bad.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely had a lot of times car rides home or whatever where I decided I was quitting 40K or whatever.
Right.
I never for a week did.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, I think the best advice is find aspects of attach yourself to things that aren't just 40K. Tie yourself personality wise, tie yourself who you are and how you look at yourself to things that aren't just 40K. And that doesn't mean just don't take it seriously. I think taking things seriously and thinking that things are important to you isn't a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. Anthony and I literally had this discussion over the phone one point. I think taking things seriously and trying hard is a good thing to do, but having things outside of one thing is very important. Because there's nothing to say, like being 100% honest. You can try your hardest, go to every single event, and you may not ever win.
Yep.
It's true.
Ever.
Yep.
For your whole life. That's just a possibility. But having other things that are important to you and that define who you are to yourself is a big deal. Find hobbies, find people to hang out with outside of 40K. So that you have things where if 40K isn't giving you what you need in life, you have other things to tie your self-worth to.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So.
Yeah. And Chris espousing WTC and joining a team, because then suddenly your individual record isn't as important, but your team record does matter and your team participation matters more.
Just don't join a team if you want to get better in singles.
ITC doesn't matter. ITC ranking doesn't matter, and the sooner you realize that, the better it is. Yep. Team 40K is the best 40K by far you can possibly play. ATC, LVO teams, the new KC teams thing. By the way, get on my team, Anthony, now. All of those are worth your time if you can grab 4 other people and go to it. 100%. Teams 40K is just this much better.
Yep.
And then that's it for the Harpster questions, essentially. There are some more long ones, but I think if we're going to have you on again, we can ask some of those then.
We can always roll back to them.
It's true. Do we want to do any of the questions from our general chat? They're like,
I think
mostly being mean to me being mean to MDs and PhDs and non-science disciplines.
I think
like
we can hold off on them until next week.
Sounds good. Yeah, because it's mostly just people trying to make me be mean to people who aren't in STEM fields, which is not something that I want to do
publicly.
I mean, I could make some comments about some people and get in a lot of trouble, but I'm not going to. It's really just Seth trying to make me mad on air for reasons. But I guess we have one question that I think is kind of funny, which is, what's worse, Custodes Dominance or Dean's 5-1 triple Hellbrute 2 Decimator Black Legion list led by Abby, Dapo, Moppy, and Saucy, which are a Dark Apostle, a Sorcerer in Terminator armor, and a Master of Possession.
I think
Ethan.
I think that every CSM player should run that list, but only if they're going to play me. I think that list is really good if you want content snowflake points. How's that?
Yeah, I phased out partway through that, phased back in, realized you were still talking, phased back out, phased back in, realized you were done, and realized I couldn't contribute to the conversation at all. So I just said this.
Not in a kind manner.
No.
And Jack is
I heard
really
triple
good
Hellbrute and I was like,
for...
I'm done. I'm finished.
Jack is a really good stand-in for Innes, is what I'm going to say right now.
True, man. That too.
All right. I think that's where we're going to end questions. We'll do the general questions next week when I can just be mean randomly to people, I guess, on air, because that's the thing people want me to do.
Chat, quickly fire off any questions you have for Jack before he disappears until some indeterminate time in the future.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could do, Anthony, are you ever going to play Melee AdMech?
If they're good, fuck yeah. I think that I probably missed the boat on them is probably what happened. I probably should have tried them when the Rustalker vet cohort thing was good. But I will play the shit out of Dark Mech, which surely will just be Melee AdMech, right? Like there's no way that they release Dark Mech and they're like, they also shoot. Like I
mean, that would be crazy, right?
That would be a real shame if they did
that would...
So
it'd be crazy if they made an
unbalanced Chaos Knights to be all melee too, even though
I got off that pretty quick.
I'm gonna be honest, if the rest of the Dark Mech line looks like Vashtor, I'll be on that so fast it won't even matter.
Oh yeah, same. It's not even a
you,
thing.
Me, Jeremy, Anthony, everyone, Nick, even he'll be on Vashtor.
Yeah.
Vashtor looks sweet.
Yeah. The great thing that I have basically a monopoly on the Chaos Armies for Team America, so
and then
I'm sorry,
so Sean takes it away from you.
Sean is daddy here, okay? Don't tell me you would tell Sean.
There's nothing Sean loves in this life more, probably even including his kids, than taking my army away from me. So yeah.
Yeah, how'd you end on NIDS anyway? On that list? That list? Are you sure? Are you sure they need to be 6-man so all your strats suck?
And dude, I needed the extra venom cannon so I could.
You needed the extra venom cannon, clearly.
Apparently, also somebody named Alex Taus wants to ask you about the Aussie Melee Tau meta and
I've been informed very loudly that it's actually pronounced Aussie.
Did you
I don't
hear what happened with the Tau boxing fight?
No, but I heard that they decided that pistols and melee was honorable and anything else was not.
Yes, and that is how they literally decided the game.
And the only two strats that were allowed were act at full and explode your suit.
Everyone dies, including
and then Chris Irvine. Everybody's decided to suddenly ask questions again. Live react to this team event in the UK. 80 lists, only one Quinn's player.
They just need the polls to tell them what to think again.
What place is this?
Wow,
it was the UK.
Oh yeah, sure. It got nerfed, so it bad. So clearly,
yeah. Well, when you take them without fate dice or luck dice, they're a lot worse.
My favorite part was before that game. I was just like, so it's got to be a mistake, right? Like, just you can be honest with me. And he was like, no, I just wanted one extra troop. Yeah, sure you did.
No.
I wanted no secondaries so I could have one more troop.
It's just worth it. Like if you think about it. Yeah,
It's
then
the
Definitely.
best.
yeah, I mean, there's a reason that game was a 15-5 and not like a 12-8 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because he had bad
And-
secondaries.
And then
No,
Seth has-
that game into Mike Porter was so good. It was probably my favorite game of 2022. I'm sorry for anyone else I played. It was so much fun. It was
I
a
had a
great
similar experience. Him and Liam are my two highlights.
Porter, I love you, Porter. I love you, Mike. I hope we get a chance to play at some point, even though your army's probably pretty good into mine. Just
Harleys into angels?
light Harleys, yeah. You think I'm good into him?
I think you got it.
Nice. Then I definitely hope we play.
Jack is my. Let the record reflect that the last time we did a draft, I snap first round picked Australia for WTC, and I did the same thing for this year's LVO with Jack. So
Yeah, John also has a secret plan that he's not telling me.
is he going to tell you he's not going to the event and then show up on the day of?
We don't talk about that. No, not like he's planning to do things. He says he has received. He knows how things will play out. He says he knows this.
That's ominous.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, right. And I think I don't know for sure. I'm just trying to follow John's plan, but I think this will. I think his plan ends in me winning the event. I'm not sure. That was the vibe I got. But apparently, step one was I play either Orcs or Blood Angels because I freak
Okay.
out trying to control everything and then go back to my something I know really well.
The safety of punch them in the mouth.
Yeah, just they die and then I win. Yeah.
Yeah, they dead. I win. Easy.
So all I know is I've got that fate. I think I'm just following that path. Anthony is apparently a wizard on the sticks and he's just like picking everything. And he apparently
Perfect.
snap picked me. I
Yeah.
don't want to win anymore because that feels cheating, right? To have fate on your side. But I follow the steps that John's plan has laid out for me.
That's
I
right.
think we're just going to learn which is the real nerd Stradamus, and is it Anthony or is it John?
You
Yeah.
used the pun.
I
Good job.
did. I used the pun that you gave me because I missed out on it the first time. And the last question, because I think it's funny because Seth is asking it fucking everywhere, is why are Flash Gets the most improved unit in our
Oh, Slack Onion, get out of here. Who is that? Is that Slack Onion?
No, it was Seth
that's
Oster.
Oh,
Seth the
whatever.
Mad Doc. Yeah.
We have two people in the Art of War who always super chat about Flash Gets specifically to me. Constantly, every stream, top 10 list about something completely different. Hey, Flash Gets, what do you think? Like anything. Tier list of all the factions in the game. Guess what? Guess what we're talking about with Orcs? Yeah, that's right. It's Flash Gets.
I'm gonna start doing that. I think.
Yeah, Flash Gets posting. It's
I
great.
think I'm gonna donate $5 a stream that Art of War will then just pay back to me that to ask about Flash Gets.
Yeah. That's
It's
fair.
actually, they're all accounts. Luke is right. They're all accounts that Seth has made just to ask.
I would
Jack
believe
about
that
Flash Gets.
actually.
Yeah. I don't know. They got better. They're 5 points cheaper. You're already taking 30 of them. So now the rest of your list got better. So whatever.
Because the people asking this questions obviously were taking the max amount.
Right. So it doesn't actually make them better, it just makes the rest of your list better.
We're gonna end on one final question, and then we'll do the trail out. Who do you think, not including yourself, then is going to win LVO?
Jack.
Well, thanks.
I said
bud.
not including Jack.
I know. I'm answering for me.
Oh.
Then everyone can answer.
Give me 1 second. I've got a couple.
Jeremy.
If I had to pick right now, Innis or Nassim, just because it'd be hilarious to have a
Sweet, I can
great
pick
win.
two. Dope. Awesome. Yeah. Cool.
I was also going to say Innis, actually. I was going to give Innis my full support. I also do think Anthony could win, but I give Innis my full support.
It's so unlikely.
My
All right.
pick
Doesn't matter.
is either Porter or John.
Porter is a good choice.
He doesn't lose tournament games in singles, apparently.
He is so good, dude. I played
Yeah.
into him. He's so good.
Yep.
There we go.
Alrighty.
Do you want to shout out Art of War one more time so you could get it right this time?
Yeah. Stat check suck. Art of War good. Cancel and sign up with Art of War.